This Sunday, AEW presents Double or Nothing, yet another edition of the pay-per-view taking place from Las Vegas, Nevada, and they have 9 matches set up for one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. So let's get right into the preview, let's get right into the predictions for this show, and of course, we gotta start it off with the 4-way Pillars match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Now, the first thing I'm gonna say here is this better be a straight-up fatal 4-way match where all 4 men are viable to be a part of the action, and it's not one of those lackluster, crappy 4 corners match where only 2 of them can be in the match at the same time. So just with that out of the way, you already know my answer as to who's going to walk out still AEW World's Heavyweight Champion, and that is, of course, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. There is absolutely no chance in hell that MJF should lose his World Championship this Sunday night in Las Vegas, Nevada. Not only because Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, or Jungle Boy, none of those 3 men are ready to be World Champion. They're not ready to lead AEW. They're not ready to attract new viewers, but the fact of the matter is, if one of them were to win the title, obviously they would not pin MJF. And number 2, I don't think fans will be interested in any rivalry, any feud involving them for the World Championship with them as the world title. And it's not a knock on them or their skills. It's just this 4-way feud has been carried, absolutely carried by MJF in its entirety. So it only makes sense to keep the title on MJF, and then after Double or Nothing, line him up against a top name contender. And I've mentioned these top names contender in the past. Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, a returning CM Punk maybe. Or if you want to go ahead and build up Wardlow already and take the title off of MJF and actually put Wardlow over, you can do that as well. But either way, this 4-way match just serves as a purpose to give MJF yet another title defense, to lengthen his current title reign, and that's pretty much it. 4-way match, that way he doesn't have to get pinned to lose the title, which adds the threatening aspect that you need in the World Championship main event. But neither of the 3 men involved could beat MJF one-on-one straight up. At least not character or storyline wise at this current moment in time. We got the unsanctioned match between Adam Cole and Chris Jericho with Sabu, who returned last night on Dynamite as the special guest enforcer for the match. Assuming Sabu is going to try and prevent members of the JAS from getting involved. He's going to have some moments in there. He's going to get a few pops. He's going to get rid of Jake Hager or Danny Garcia, or most likely the tag team that I can't remember their name. But, they're sports entertainers. Can never do the accent right. But with that said, Adam Cole has to win this match hands down. There's absolutely no way. There's absolutely no scenario where Chris Jericho can walk out the winner. I kind of equate this to Adam Cole playing the role of Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho playing the role of Seth frickin' Rollins. Even if this feud, even if this rivalry continues past Double or Nothing, which I kind of feel like it might, Adam Cole has to sweep Y2J. Adam Cole has to surpass and overcome all of the odds in this match and in the future matches they may have, and sweep Chris Jericho to the point that Adam Cole becomes a pretty surefire #1 contender to MJF's World Heavyweight Championship. And Adam Cole can definitely be a top threat to MJF's title. And it starts this Sunday by him beating Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing. We have a 6-man tag team match where if the Hardys win, Matt Hardy will own Ethan Page's contract. Ethan Page and the Guns are back. Again, another misfire on Tony Khan's part in terms of how to build your own stars. Because they sacrifice the Acclaim to give a transitional title reign to the Guns, and then they sacrifice the Guns by giving the titles to FTR, which again was the entire plan all along. But you don't give him that badass entrance. You don't present him in that way for that title match. Have him lose, and then they disappear for a long-ass time. And now they return in just a 6-man tag team match. That's just not the way to maximize your stars to their fullest potential. But again, I'm hoping maybe down the line Collision can help that. I'm assuming that's why you got an extra 2 hours of programming coming up. So with that said, those 3 men are facing off against the Hardys and Hook. And again, this match I'm not too interested in, because you already know my thoughts on Jeff Hardy. I don't think he should be a part of pro wrestling right now. He should focus on just fixing his life altogether. I think pro wrestling leads him down the road that he has unfortunately fallen too many times, so I don't particularly want him to continue down that road. Again, not my choice, not my decision. It happens. But with this 6-man tag team match, I gotta give it to the Hardys and Hook winning this match, because the story that they're gonna tell with Hardy owning Ethan Page, with the roles being reversed, that's gonna be entertaining for Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision going forward. So I'll give the win to the Hardys and Hook. We got a singles match for the AEW TBS Championship. Jade Cargill is going to defend her title for the 55th, 56th time. I lost count at this point, maybe 60th time. Against La Güera Loca, Taya Valkyrie. And as much as I love Taya, this one's pretty simple. Ain't no way Jade is losing that title. And I've said this, and I'll stick by this for months and months to come. The only way to maximize Jade Cargill's current reign, her current character, her current run, is to have her be the Goldberg in this entire situation. Meaning Goldberg had the US title, he challenged for the world title, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. In this case, Jade Cargill has the TBS championship, the secondary championship in the women's division in AEW. Have her challenge Jamie Hayter or whoever the women's world champion is down the line. And not a unification match, but it's just champion versus champion for the titles. That's how you get there. And I know a lot of fans want Chris Statlander to end Jade Cargill's reign. Here's the thing with doing that. Once she does that, where do you go from there? Chris Statlander becomes mid-card champion in the women's division. Not that big of a deal. And then Chris Statlander beats Jade Cargill, an undefeated behemoth in the women's division. But it didn't mean anything. And then Jade Cargill, her character, is hurt even more because she just lost. Whereas you could apply the John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Undertaker effect just the way that they talked about it a few days ago on the Sam Roberts podcast. On Sam Roberts' show, which is Jade Cargill can retain the title tonight, or at Double or Nothing on Sunday. She can then go on, beat the women's world champion, become the women's world champion. She could still be undefeated. She could be unstoppable, much like Asuka was in NXT. And then at some point, if you want to put Chris Statlander over, that win over Jade Cargill once she had to vacate the TBS title because she won the women's world title. That's a win that's gonna mean a whole lot more, like a shit ton more, than if Chris Statlander or Taya Valkyrie just beats Jade Cargill here and now for the TBS title, which again is a mid-card title in the women's division, because Jade Cargill has beaten a lot of no-name talent in her undefeated streak. So with that said, Jade Cargill for the win. Speaking of the women's division, we got Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm. Jamie Hayter with another women's world championship defense. And unfortunately for Jamie Hayter, once again, we get into this entire cycle of the feud, the rivalry not being about her. It's not about the women's world championship. It's about the Outcasts versus the AEW Originals. That is the story Tony Khan has elected to tell. And there's nothing wrong with going that way. It's just the women's world championship has fallen into a secondary contention, much like at Revolution. Yeah, much like at Revolution, when Ruby Soho got interjected into the triple threat match, and it wasn't about who walked out the women's world champion. It was about which side Ruby Soho took in that fight in the women's division. And again, this match is exactly the exact same story. Toni Storm is only challenging Jamie Hayter because, number one, we need a Women's World Championship defense on the actual pay-per-view. This match is going to, by the way, this match is going to kill. It's going to be fantastic. I have no doubt about that. The talent, it's most likely, the talent is never in question. It's just the story and the character build to the match itself that hurts it. And unfortunately, it's the exact same case. Jamie Hayter has been Women's World Champion for what, 2, 3, 4 months at this point? I can't even tell because she has not been the focal point of the women's division as its Women's World Champion. This entire internal warfare has, which has put the Women's World Championship as a second fiddle. So Jamie Hayter needs to retain this title here and now. And at some point down the line, we got to prioritize the Women's World Championship. At some point down the line. That's just my thoughts. But overall, that's what I believe is about to happen. We got the tag team titles on the line with Mark Briscoe as a special guest referee. Mark Briscoe, obviously, he's a babyface. Nobody wants to hate him on right now for obvious reasons. And I do feel like he's gonna call this match down the middle. He has to, because I think it would be the absolute worst move right now to turn him heel, because the fans do not want to boo. So with that said, the FTR defends against the team of Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. That's right, a made-up, put-together team is challenging for the tag team titles. When you got the Guns, when you got the Lucha Brothers, when you got the Acclaimed, you could have the Acclaimed on this actual pay-per-view. They're not on the actual pay-per-view. You could have them challenge FTR, babyface versus babyface. They'll tear the house down. The crowd will go nuts. But again, I'm not saying Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal haven't been entertaining. It's just not really the best story to tell at this moment in time. Again, I'm not in charge of AEW Creative, and I'm not in control. So with that said, FTR has to retain, no doubt about that. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal need to be heels, entertaining heels in the foreseeable future, but they will not, I don't think they'll be World Tag Team Champions anytime soon. And I think their rivalry is more with Mark Briscoe and wherever that may lead. And they don't need the tag team titles for that. So with that said, FTR walks out with the tag team gold. We've got ourselves a ladder match for the TNT Championship. Wardlow defends against Christian Cage in a ladder match. And I'll say this with the utmost respect to Christian Cage. Even with Luchasaurus involved, Wardlow wins this match, hands down, 99.9% of the time. There is no doubt in my mind that Wardlow doesn't walk out with the TNT title in his possession. That's it. That's it. The story might continue down the line. Wardlow has to win. Wardlow retains the TNT Championship. We get back into this unstoppable run of his Powerbomb Symphony. And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. It's going to be a pretty good match. Again, the ladder match focuses more on Christian Cage because he has more of experience in these types of stipulations, and he's got Luchasaurus. But Wardlow has Arn Anderson, again. So we'll just have to wait and see what goes down for that match itself. We have ourselves a 21-man Battle Royal, Blackjack Battle Royal for the AEW International Championship. Orange Cassidy defends against 20 other men. Ricky Starks, The Butcher, The Blade, Bandito, Commander, Lee Moriarty, Big Bill, Ari Daivari, Tony Nese, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, Kip Sabian, Ray Phoenix, Penta, Swerve Strickland, Brian Cage, Jay White, Juice Robinson, Keith Lee, and Dustin Rhodes. Yeah, I'm not interested in this. It's a battle royal for the International Championship, a title that should have already switched hands at this point, because Orange Cassidy has had a great run with it. But again, it's another case of the TBS title. At least from my point of view, the interest has waned. It has been lost on his title reign. You need something to spark up some interest, give it to somebody else. Unfortunately, this is a battle royal, so whoever you give it to in this match doesn't really matter. It's not as effective as a straight up singles match. So again, I have to give it to Orange Cassidy retaining in this 21-man Blackjack Battle Royal for the International Championship. But you know, they've got to focus on their stories. They got to focus on what they're trying to tell, and hopefully elevate their titles along with it. And with that said, we get to the absolute main event of the show. This is going to end the show, no doubt. Because like I said, the Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW World Championship, it is the world title. It is MJF, the face of the company at this moment in time. But we all know who's going to win there. Anarchy in the Arena. Now that's a main event worthy match. And much like WrestleMania Night 1, the story going into that night, the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, that deserved to be the main event. In this case, the story being told by the Black Bull Combat Club, the BCC, and the Elite, well, that's going to have to take center stage. That is going to be the main event of Double or Nothing. It will certainly live up to its name in Anarchy in the Arena. Every time we've seen this match in the past, it has delivered in spades. It has never disappointed. And the talent involved in this kind of match, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, the Bucks, Hangman, Adam Page, 8-man all-out warfare. Come on. Come on. How could you not get excited with this type of match? Now, who's going to win? Who's going to walk out with the win? The fans. The viewers. Because this type of match, the way it has been played out in the past, even if you win or even if you lose, whoever's involved in the match does not get hurt in the least. Because it's just bonkers. It's crazy all over the place. It defies logic at some points. So just based on that, it doesn't really matter who wins or loses this match, because this feud will continue. This rivalry is far from over. This is the genesis of this rivalry, and it should end in London. And for this rivalry to continue, the Elite needs to come out with the victory. Why? Because the BCC are the heels, and they will not take a loss for an answer. Especially, you need the Elite, especially to win this match, because it's been, 2-3 years since we've seen them as a group? Omega, Hangman, Adam Page, and the Bucks? Yes, we know that, but their power, their chemistry, everything that they bring to the table should put them above the BCC, which will piss the BCC off even more, leading into the future. So with that said, those are my thoughts, those are my predictions for Double or Nothing taking place this Sunday in Las Vegas, Nevada. Again, a can't miss show. There will be some awesome action involved as always with All Elite Wrestling. Like I said earlier, the talent has never been in question. Every time they go out there, they deliver, bar none. What are your thoughts? What are your predictions? Who do you think walks out with the wins in the title matches? Who do you think walks out of Anarchy in the Arena with the W? In this case, at Double or Nothing, the BCC or the Elite. Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions in the comment section below. In the meantime, tune in later on tonight to Access TV for another episode of Impact Wrestling. I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.